Do the New York Giants have a major problem on their hands that is going to impact them this offseason? We're going to break that down on today's show. But first, I want to give a shout out to the last 5 people that have subscribed to this channel. Shout out to my guy Trey, Stuart, Diego, Joan, and Steven. We appreciate you guys as we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. If you want a shout out on a future New York Giants Now by Chat Sports show, hit that sub button and help us get to 100K. This is New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. I have been asked multiple times over the past couple of weeks, Marshall, have you seen the New York Giants have no free agency money, that they have a bad and low amount of salary cap space? And yeah, I've looked at it. And yeah, I've looked into it. And today I decided, you know what? We are going to talk about it. Let's start with this. The Giants, their 2026 effective cap space, it's negative $2.9 million. That would be the actual 19th most amongst all 32 teams in the NFL. So let's start with this. Not great. It's not great, but it's also slightly and a little bit deceiving. Let's start with this. What is effective cap space? The cap space a team will have after signing at least 51 players and its projected rookie class to its roster. Okay, so pretty much saying once the Giants sign 51 players, they are going to be over the salary cap by close to $3 million. So I guess that means the Giants aren't going to be able to sign any good players this offseason. I guess that means the Giants aren't going to be able to make any good moves this offseason. Not at all. I always tell you guys, the salary cap is fake. The salary cap can be manipulated. And there are buttons that you could press that can create millions and millions of dollars in salary cap space. And the New York Giants, they have this beautiful button right here. And they could tap it. Tap, tap, taparoo to create $86.6 million in cap space very easily. Should they do all these moves? Will they do all these moves? That's a video for another day. The sole purpose of today's video is to show you that the Giants can manipulate the salary cap extremely easy. I think the bigger problem is, are the New York Giants and is their ownership going to be willing to spend money? You go back and you look at the last 3 seasons when it comes to their total cash spent, also known as their active money being spent on their roster. What is active spending money in the NFL? In the NFL, active spending refers to the amount of the salary cap a team is currently using for its active roster of players. It's the money committed to the salaries, bonuses, and incentives of players who are on the team for that season, as opposed to dead money, which is spent on players who have already been released or traded this season. So over the last 3 years, the New York Giants have been in the bottom 10 of total cash spent. I'll paint the picture like this. The team that has the most active money spent this year, the Atlanta Falcons. Second, the Eagles. Third, the Kansas City Chiefs. The teams that are trying to win, they spend the most money, and they do what it takes to roster the best players. The Atlanta Falcons, they are just a dumpster fire. So let's go through a series of moves the New York Giants can make to clear $80+ million in cap space. And I'll say this, I'm not saying they should make all these moves. I'm just showing you moves they can make to create cap space if they want. Let's start with cutting inside linebacker Bobby Okereke prior to June 1st. You would add $9.5 million to your salary cap. And I think that Okereke is a legit cut candidate this offseason, as he will be turning 30 soon, and I think his best days are behind him. I just kind of boil it down to a very simple formula. He's your most expensive inside linebacker. You have the worst run defense in the NFL. You can cut him, save the money, and maybe even sign 2 players who are just as good as him and can make just as much of an impact. I would move on from Bobby Okereke. Despite him having almost 100 tackles this year, he rarely makes plays at, near, or behind the line of scrimmage. Cut number 2, Jon Runyan. You can save $9.2 million in cap space if you move on from the veteran left guard. Will the Giants do it? I don't know. Is it smart to move on from a starting left guard who is maybe like slightly above average? I don't know. You got a rookie quarterback. You want to protect him. But maybe the New York Giants think they can go out and get another guard in free agency or something along the lines to replace him. Maybe they move Marcus Bowe to left guard. They also have some free agents they're going to have to make a decision on. Runyan is a toss-up for me. I could see him going either way, and I could be convinced either way is the right move. But again, I'm just trying to give you guys the information. You can cut Devin Singletary this offseason and save north of $5 million. And for me, as much as I like Devin Singletary, as much as he is underrated, I think this is a move that you do have to make. He'll be 29 here around the corner, and for a guy that's going to be your RB3 with Scadaboo and Tyrone Tracy, I just don't think it's smart to spend $5.2 million on a third-string running back. The easiest move of them all, though, will be cutting Graham Gano. At least that's what I thought last offseason when we did this video. The Giants can save $4.5 million if they cut him this offseason, and I think the end of the road is here for the 38-year-old kicker. He's just not available enough. He doesn't make enough kicks. He doesn't give you an advantage, and I think it is over for Graham Gano as a New York Giant. Appreciate everything you've done here, but the Giants, they need that money, my guy. Another move that I think is going to be very easy for the Giants to make, as he has been a healthy scratch a handful of times, is cutting James Hudson this offseason. You will save $5.5 million by doing that. I will never, ever forget what went down in Dallas, Texas against the Cowboys, where he just self-combusted, and it was penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. Joe Schoen went and spent money on a swing tackle, and he's not even the swing tackle at this point anymore. So the New York Giants, they could move on from James Hudson, and they could save $5.5 million by doing so. So here are some cuts that you can make. You can save a lot of money by doing those. You could pick which ones you want to do. Again, just giving you guys the information. If you want to restructure some contracts, like push some money into the future, because the cap's going to continue to go up, and there's big TV deals coming, and you have a rookie quarterback on a cost-controlled contract for the next 4 seasons, it might be smart. You could restructure Brian Burns, saving $14.3 million. You can restructure Andrew Thomas by saving $11.3 million. You can restructure Paulson Adebo to save $8.1 million. You may even look to extend Brian Burns. He's already been on the Giants for what would be 2 years. This would be his 3rd year, as he did sign that 5-year deal. I think he had 1 year left, though, in Carolina. Speaking of extensions, you can save, according to Over the Cap, all these numbers on today's show. They come from Over the Cap and Spotrac. They're awesome sites. According to Over the Cap, the Giants can save $14.2 million on next year's salary cap total by giving Dexter Lawrence an extension. So we've already almost saved $75 million. And did you really lose any impactful players? Maybe Jon Runyan. That's really about it. A couple more moves to talk about, and then we're going to look to free agency, and I'm going to show you the big players the Giants are going to have to make decisions on that are going to be free agents coming up in March. But this hoodie, major sale, almost 15% off. Chatsports.com/Giants hoodie was $80. Now it's $48. Holiday season's here. Go get it. You can cut linebacker Chris Ford and save $2.1 million. You can also cut running back Eric Gray and save $1.1 million. You could save $3.2 million on 2 players that aren't really doing anything for you at this point. You do have 6 free agents that I think you're going to have to make a decision on. Jermaine Illuminor. Do you want to bring him back? How much are you willing to pay Jermaine Illuminor? Again, I think you want to make the offensive line a strength with a young quarterback in Jackson Dart. But I also wonder if maybe the Giants can build their offensive line in a different way. Greg Van Roten. Maybe you bring him back as a depth piece instead of a starter next year. Wan'Dale Robinson. Look, I think Wan'Dale's a fine player. I'm not paying him big-time money. I'm not giving him the Khalil Shakir contract of $16 million. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I think that his production can be replicated by another player for a lot less money. Cordell Flott, I'm interested in bringing him back. I think it'd be a really good CB3. He can slide into a CB2 spot, but I'd like some depth at that spot. Micah McFadden, what are the Giants going to do with him? A draft pick, one of the biggest hits in the draft by Joe Schoen. And then Daniel Bellinger, he will be a free agent as well. Then you got guys like Dane Belton and others that you'll have to make a decision on. Like, let's make no mistake here. Joe Schoen has not been a good general manager with the New York Giants, but the thing that he has probably done the best job of is not running the Giants' cap into the dirt. The Giants aren't in cap hell. They aren't this year. They aren't next year. And I would say they are in the top 10 of salary cap health going forward, and they need to maximize this rookie scale contract of Jackson Dart. When Dart enters year 4, and then you're going to pick up his 5th-year option before that year, you need to be seriously contending for the playoffs in year 4. And then in year 5, you may even be needing to contend for a Super Bowl, because it gets really tough once your quarterback makes 40, 50, $60 million. And if you can't build a championship roster when your quarterback is making pennies, you'll never be able to do it when he's making almost 30% of the cap. If you're ready to see the Giants turn it around, make some nice moves, get back to winning, hit that thumbs up icon for me. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.